Hey everybody, thanks for being here. Welcome back to the channel. The General is also here. We had a great roll today, and we're going to extend what we were talking about last video with some things that kind of came to light during this one. Would you like to take it?
I would love to. So last week we talked about, like we've discussed it several times, the dark side, the light side, using the force, things like that. And we really dove into last week how like the ego and like using the dark side really kind of like sucks your energy and it mentally fatigues you, right? Mental fatigue is the worst. And we were talking about how I really dove into, like, I sold my soul last week, right? And like this week, 180 degree turn on it, and I was able to stay on the light side, and I left. This was our longest streak without submission, an hour 10 minutes until the first submission. And one of the things that I would say, and if you revisit last week's video, I would talk about how like my style requires typically the bulk majority of my submissions come from a dominant position, meaning I play your typical old school game, take down, pass the guard, achieve dominant position, submit from there. So I'm climbing the ladder, and when climbing the ladder, when I get pushed back down the ladder, it can mentally be fatiguing to me because I gotta reclimb. And each time I get pushed down, I get a little bit more emotionally attached to it. I get a little bit more panicked, like, because I'm trying to win today. So today I made an effort to not allow that to affect me. So what I said to myself today was, I'm not going to worry about how many times I have to climb the ladder, right, to get to the submission. That is like not my goal. I did little lies to myself where I set little goals like, hey, if I get to mount, like, lie to yourself, tell yourself like that's like a half a submission, right? Even though we will absolutely not count that. But like, if that's the lie I have to say to myself to stay on the light side, then that's what I had to do. And that's what I did today. And we found some really incredible like side effects that could be said for it. Like, for example, number one, what we thought would happen was I didn't get as emotionally attached to the dominant positions. Therefore, whenever the escape was in process, I did not feel as if I had to cling so hard, or this was my last hope, or throw a Hail Mary, right? Which would fatigue me. So throughout this hour and 10 minutes, we were done, neither of us breathing hard, right? So that was great. So I stayed, out of that extreme fatigue. In addition, there were less escapes than usual today.
From my perspective, yeah. So last week I would say that because even though Mike got more submissions last time, it was 2-0 last time, it was 1-0 this time.
1-0 this time.
Last time, however, when I would start to escape, because he was trying to hold on to the position he was already in, kind of harder and with more energy, it was easy to escape fully.
Yeah.
This time, if you'll notice, I'm only able to escape maybe like a half a position backwards. Because he's not as dedicated to keeping the current position. He's willing to go back one step with me, so he's kind of following me back to where we both were before.
And it made it, in my opinion, at least how I felt, it made a large difference, because if you look back at last week's video, like, it was like, oh, if an escape happened, obviously you fell all the way down the ladder, right? And it was like with a little clearer head and like enjoying the steps of success that I was having. I didn't fall all the way back on the ladder every time. If I did, I made my best chance to not let it affect me. So I would just like fall back a step, and I'd be like, hey, like, he's escaping with this elbow escape. What position was I at right before I achieved the mount? I'm like, oh, I had both the knees pinned to this side, my instep was hooking the bottom leg. So I was like, revert back to there, reclimb. Right, so instead of falling all the way back down the ladder, I only fell back a step, and it allowed me to kind of revisit that area in which I was telling myself, this is successful. So not only did I stay there longer, the escapes were less devastating, and I was less emotionally invested into, I need to get the submission right here. Like, if this doesn't work, it's a catastrophic failure. And, just all in all, like, the ball kept rolling, and I'm very excited about that. And one of the things I'm probably most excited about is, like, look at us learning from ourselves, right? Like, we make these videos to try to influence you, right? And in turn, like, we're learning as well. You hear that from teachers all the time, right? Like, it's like, oh, once I started teaching, I got a lot better. Why? Is there like some special thing that happens? Well, yeah, I guess. Like, you understand it from way more perspectives and stuff. And sometimes, like, the self-reflection that we put out in these videos trickles down and makes us better as well. And I think today I had a good day.
Yeah, same. And I think that talking about it, even in during the, if you look back at some of the previous videos, there's times when one or both of us are talking and we're like, oh, I just realized something as we were talking about.
Yeah, we've had that happen. Like I believe one of like the marquee ones was like I got a deeper understanding of the connection when we were talking about the environment, because like the last half hour of our rules, like standing guard passing is comical. Like it's like scary. You're like, you take a step and you're like, please don't blow my knee out. Please don't blow my knee out. You're just slip sliding around.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like introducing that element of connection, where I understood connection to a certain level, and I understood what Jared was saying when he was talking about connection. But it's just like just like a little epiphany of understanding it on maybe an extra level. And I think that happens with everybody sometimes. Like you think you understand what someone's saying, and they think you understand it too. But like maybe there's layers to that onion that you don't fully get, and like I don't think it should be a forced peel. I think the peel will come when the time is right.
Yeah. So thanks for watching. Do the liking and the subscribing. Check out the Radical Store. Hit the bell and
Come down and train. One, two, three, four.
Okay.
Ooh-wee. I don't feel cold though.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm getting excited stuff.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I hit I feel like I just stepped up a level.
That was a really good roll.
Yeah, it was.
Ready?
All right. Yep.
Hey everybody.